Welcome to Destination San Diego, brought to you by Cox Communications and the San Diego Tourism Authority. Whether you're visiting for the first time or you're a native, there's no doubt that San Diego is pretty close to paradise. Boasting perpetually sunny skies, a majestic coastline, and picturesque mountains, San Diego's regions are so unique and diverse there are endless places to discover something new. Two of San Diego's hippest neighborhoods are North Park and South Park, named for their proximity to Balboa Park. These revitalized urban neighborhoods are fueled by art galleries, diverse restaurants, and nightlife. And North Park proudly holds claim to being the best beer neighborhood in the nation. North Park is a neighborhood that has been transformed by the arts. In recent years, this uptown San Diego community has become one of the hottest neighborhoods in the region, drawing locals and visitors alike to experience North Park's galleries, music venues, restaurants, and events. Forbes even called North Park one of the country's best neighborhoods for hipsters. Named for their proximity to Balboa Park, the neighborhoods of North Park and South Park are connected by 30th Street. And if you love food, shopping, or craft beer, then 30th Street just might be your idea of heaven. Join me for a day in North Park and South Park to discover the creative and crafty spirit of these neighborhoods. Beginning at the north end of 30th Street along Cajon Boulevard, there are plenty of unique spots worth visiting. Start your morning with a perfectly poured cup of coffee from the Coffee and Tea Collective, before checking out the Media Arts Center San Diego Digital Gym. This urban cinema space offers film festivals and screenings by local movie makers and big-name directors alike. Let's talk with the Media Arts Center's founder, Ethan Ventillo, to find out more. So this is a very cool space we're in. Based on the name, it's called the Digital Gym.
Yeah.
Doesn't look too much like a gym to me. How would you describe the Digital Gym?
It's a community technology center and independent movie theater. And it's a space where we want all ages to come in and learn new skills that they need for their home or for their school or for their work. And we play on words. We want people to flex their 21st century technology muscles, come in, take workshops, do one-on-one personal training.
This is a really nice, intimate theater. What kind of movies do you guys show here?
So in addition to the classes that we have for kids and adults, we also have independent and foreign films that we screen here every day. And so we want people to come out, have some good food, and then see great independent films or foreign film, and or have their kids or themselves come and learn new skills at our community technology classes.
As you head south along 30th Street, you'll cross University Avenue. This is the heart of the North Park neighborhood. Here you'll find the historic North Park Theater. The theater was renovated in 2003 and today hosts musical performances by local and national bands. And with numerous restaurants within walking distance, it's easy to do dinner and a show in North Park. As you wander along 30th Street and University Avenue, you'll find tons of unique neighborhood shops offering locally made goods. For the ultimate North Park arts experience, be sure to visit on the second Saturday of the month for Ray at Night. This monthly art walk showcases the wild and creative spirit that makes North Park a haven for artists and young innovators. From North Park, the South Park neighborhood is just a quick walk or bike ride down 30th Street. Take some time to stop in for a craft beer at Modern Times, where the decor is just as artfully crafted as the beer. In South Park, the intersection of 30th Street and Juniper is where you'll find some of San Diego's most unique and creative shops. You never know what treasures you'll find at Make Good, a local shop stocked full of creations by local artists and crafters. Let's head inside to talk with shop owner Sophia Hall to find out more.
Make Good is a store that sells 100% locally sourced goods. And what I mean by that is all of our artists that supply the goods in the store live nearby. So they're all literally in San Diego County, and then a few across the border. So kind of our region. Handmade, local, and recycled. That's what we're about. You can find just about anything. We are very diverse because we have over 130 artists. So there's a lot, there's a lot going on in here. I don't think a store like this would survive if art was not important to this community, and it is. And I think you see that in the food, the bars, the coffee places, the shops. There's an artistic spin to everything done here. So it's like a magnet for artistic types and creatives.
Our final stop along 30th Street is at Beach Street, where the culinary arts really shine. On this quaint corner, you'll find Hamilton's Tavern, which is always packed with craft beer lovers. Across the street, Buona Forchetta's authentic Italian dishes and Neapolitan pizzas keep visitors lined up for tables on their sparkling patio. There's no limit to the creative energy that you'll find along 30th Street. For more ideas on how to spend your day in North Park and South Park, visit our website, 4sd.com, and check out the Destination San Diego page. We'll be right back. Welcome back. San Diego is a leader in the high-tech and biotech fields and is celebrated as one of the country's smartest cities. But along with our high-tech future, our region also boasts a fascinating history. Now, you know you're an icon when you can be known by just one name: Cher, Madonna, and in San Diego there's an icon known simply as the Boulevard. Jack Gates takes us back to the time of drive-ins, malt shops, and drag races on El Cajon Boulevard.
The Boulevard, El Cajon Boulevard, is always busy and always has been.
This was the main thoroughfare into San Diego, but even in the early days, it was nothing more than a dirt road.
From horses to the automobile, the dirt road would become Highway 80, the first highway from the east into San Diego. In 1937, it became El Cajon Boulevard.
I've seen the evolution of it.
Jim Cooley grew up along the boulevard and watched auto travelers stream into San Diego.
With the birth of motels along here, you found that restaurants also cropped up.
Travelers also needed gas stations and places to buy cars.
It became kind of like the mile of cars before the mile of cars in South Bay.
Like the past, the boulevard still is filled with motels, restaurants, gas stations, and car lots. Early businesses on the boulevard, like Mrs. Conkling's Bakery, have come and gone.
At any given location on the boulevard, I can remember what was there and what replaced it and what replaced that.
Like the Tea Garden Auto Camp at 4660 El Cajon. The Asian Business Center has risen at that location. There was Star Beverage, the 7-Up bottlers near Alabama Street. Watch the building. It transforms and houses several other businesses. The Schwinn Bike Center at El Cajon and 37th. Today, it's a vacant, almost hidden, nondescript building. At 50th Street, where the Gables filled families with food, Good Body's Mortuary now rests there. And Oscar's Drive-In at Euclid was the ultimate hangout for burgers and teen car cruising.
The kids took a lot of pride in the hot rods and customized cars they had.
Oscar's was owned by the Peterson family, which started Jack in the Box. And now that historic location, what else? A Jack in the Box. Another piece of history happened here at El Cajon Boulevard and Cherokee Avenue. On a hot August night in 1960, 3,000 teenagers and young adults blocked off this area. The teens were protesting the closing of a local drag strip, so the revved-up crowd began drag racing on El Cajon. Police rushed in. Protesters pelted cops with rocks and bottles and tried to overturn police cars. Historians say it was one of the first major youth riots of the 1960s. And from police to a president. When President John Kennedy visited San Diego in '63, he greeted crowds along the boulevard. That same location near Florida Street, just a faded memory now. A lot of businesses along the boulevard have also faded over the decades.
We've seen progress at its best and progress at its worst.
But the El Cajon Boulevard Business Improvement Association is revitalizing the boulevard. But the revitalization won't erase the boulevard's colorful past.
This is part of our history in San Diego, a great part of it. And this history will always be there for people.
To appreciate the changes on the boulevard then and now.
There's always more to learn about San Diego's history. For instance, just a few blocks from El Cajon Boulevard is Balboa Park, home to many of San Diego's most iconic buildings. Jack Gates shows us a look back at the many faces of Balboa Park's Ford building.
Then it was the Ford building, built for the 1935 California Pacific Exposition in Balboa Park. Now the building houses the San Diego Air and Space Museum.
It's still the big white building in the park. It's still the building that stands out, and people are wondering, what is that big round building?
Back in '35, construction of that big round building in Balboa Park was the idea of car maker Henry Ford. Ford wanted the grand gear-shaped building to promote his 1935 V8 Fords.
About 4 million people came to the exposition of 1935, and a lot of people came here. It was the magnet.
Inside, crowds flocked to see an assembly line demonstration of how Fords were built. In the circular exhibition courtyard, there was a water fountain with the V8 insignia and Fords on display. Notice the Art Deco lights.
This was all what's new, what's going on.
Next door, to attract more crowds, the Ford Bowl was built. There were free concerts twice a day. Now the Ford Bowl is the refurbished Starlight Bowl. Back in '35, the U.S. was coming out of the Great Depression. Americans were making money again and ready to spend it, like on Fords. When the Ford building opened, a new 1935 Ford cost about $580. Gas was 19 cents a gallon. A worker's yearly average salary, $1,500. And to entice workers to buy a Ford, there were test rides around the Ford building. Crowds could cruise in a new Ford on the roads of the Pacific.
They had one that was like the old Yuma Road, or they had an Inca Highway. I know at the time they were trying to impress the visitors with how smooth the Ford automobile went over these different terrains.
Today, around the museum, you could still see where those roads of the Pacific were. After the '35 exposition, the Ford building had several uses, but eventually its glory days faded.
The building didn't get any repairs, it wasn't maintained, and it fell into a really bad state.
But in 1978, the San Diego Air and Space Museum took over the building, made renovations, and it opened to the public in 1980.
The museum's mission is to celebrate, educate, and inspire.
Now affiliated with the Smithsonian, the Air and Space Museum tells the story of aviation, from Lindbergh to Apollo, everything in between and beyond.
It's much, much more than aircraft in this museum. It's just got an amazing story, and it's San Diego's history, because we were one of the main contributors to aviation.
And remember that old courtyard and the V8 fountain? It's still there today, along with deco lights, even some old V8 Fords. The March of Transportation mural in the old Ford building was refurbished and is still in the museum. The building has come full circle.
When it was built, there was a reason, there was a message that was trying to be put out there. It was the future of where we were going.
That transportation message then is the same message now.
We hope you've enjoyed learning a little something about San Diego's history, and we'll be back in a minute to show you more exciting ways to explore San Diego. Welcome back. One of the best ways to explore a new place is to get tips from the locals. From the surf to the city and everywhere in between, our local aficionados can give you the inside scoop on San Diego. So grab the family and watch as animal trainer Rick Schwartz takes you behind the scenes at some of San Diego's best spots for kids of all ages.
Hi, I'm Aaron Chang.
Hey, I'm Ram Machado.
Hi, I'm Yahya Ling.
Hey, I'm Rick Schwartz.
Hi, I'm Tina Mickelson.
I'm Greg Cook.
Hola, soy Marcela Valladolid.
And we're your guides to the good stuff.
San Diego has the most laid-back, sunny, amazing vibe that you could ever imagine.
A great style of life, a great pace of life.
I wake up every day and I open my blinds to see the ocean, and I just go, wow, it's an amazing place.
People are very warm, very caring, and they are open-minded.
Everyone is very accepting,
And it's not what you look like, it's how friendly you are, and that's the vibe of San Diego. That's why I love it here.
Vitamin D is really important to being happy.
This is January.
It's very easy to find inspiration in a place as beautiful and as laid back and as perfect as this.
You know, we have such a beautiful beach. You have some of the great music, great culture and museum, and plus more.
I think there's just a little bit for everyone in San Diego.
San Diego is really coming of age. There's so many things going on here. It's now very difficult to keep abreast of everything.
I get to discover new, really cool stuff every day.
It depends on what you like around here. That's so beautiful that you can have the choice.
Yeah, well, look around, man. There's like people walking, running, biking. We have so much to offer, and people are so active and alive and out there doing it. San Diego's happy, and happiness is contagious.
I'm Rick Schwartz, and this is Burley, and we're your guides to the good stuff. I've always made it a policy that you pick 3 animals before you get to the zoo that you're gonna see. Right now, koalas are big. It's really the first time all of our koalas have been out on exhibit for everyone to see, really. The orangutans, especially now we have a baby there right now. And another one of has my heart, no doubt, is called a binturong or bear cat. If you're coming to the San Diego Zoo, be prepared to spend all day. During the summertime, we're open for 12 hours from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. See your favorite animal active in the morning, go take one of the bus tours, Skyfari, check out a show, and then walk the zoo again in the evening time. You're gonna see and hear so many unique things you would miss otherwise. After you've seen the zoo and the safari park, go east for a little bit, find the small town of Julian. Great history and great apple pies out there. One of my favorite locations is Torrey Pines State Park. You have the beach access, of course, but you go up the hill, there are some beautiful paths, and you get to walk some areas that have some really unique wildlife right there for that coastal area. I'd have to say, if you're into people watching and you really want to see some great things, Mission Beach is a wonderful place. A lot of great characters, both local and visiting down there. Evening people watching, I'd have to say Gaslamp. There are so many great restaurants and clubs and different things down there. You can just get a nice little table on the patio of a restaurant there on one of the main streets, and people watch all evening long. You'll be entertained, I guarantee. And then another really great venue with different bars. You can bar hop and enjoy sort of more of the beach culture of things. I'd say Pacific Beach, or known locally as PB. Those are your places to go when you're done with the wild animals and you want to go hang out with the party animals. San Diego Zoo is right in Balboa Park, and the history of the two, the zoo and the park, are deeply interwoven. The zoo was started right after the California-Panama Expo of 1915, because as the expo kind of departed and everyone went back their separate ways, there were still a lot of animals left right in Balboa Park. And Dr. Harry Wegeforth, a local surgeon here in San Diego, he heard lions roaring, and he thought to himself, at least the story goes, that it'd be great to have a zoo right here for the children of San Diego. So we're almost 100 years old here. I'd have to say some of my favorite attractions at Balboa Park is the promenade right there on the Prado. It's truly phenomenal, really beautiful buildings. And, you know, of course, to the museums. Natural History Museum is one of my favorites. I do love going in there and seeing the different things they have, not only as an adult to learn something new, but then all the interactive stuff they have for kids to learn hands-on. And so it's great when people come to visit San Diego, you've got all of Balboa Park, all the museums, and San Diego Zoo right here waiting for you.
The San Diego Zoo is definitely one of my favorite places to spend a day in San Diego. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to share more of San Diego. Welcome back. North America's largest urban cultural park sits idyllically just north of downtown San Diego. Built in 1915 for the Panama, California Exposition, Balboa Park is home to 16 museums. But one in particular offers an opportunity to learn about San Diego's history and let your imagination run off the tracks.
Ooh, and it's coming right up close.
The trains may be small, but the San Diego Model Railroad Museum holds one of the largest model railroad displays in the world.
And this is huge. It's the biggest I've ever seen. So it's amazing.
When you walk in, you see color, you hear sound, you see movement, and that's why I think it's so much fun.
The museum features rare and historic models and 5 scenic train layouts in 3 different size scales.
This is the toy gallery, but we're also known as the San Diego Three-Railers. That's our club name.
The train layouts are all built and run by members of 4 local model railroad clubs. Volunteers from the clubs provide their trains and a wealth of information.
That's what the museum is all about, is to interact with the public so that the public knows what model railroading is all about.
We've got a scale train mine, which is that passenger, it's a silver one that's going to be coming through right here.
We bring our own trains. We can't change the layout pretty much, it's pretty much permanent. But the trains change every day, and we run everything from 1920s and 30s all the way up to items that were produced as soon as last year.
Donald Duck. Minnie Mouse and Mickey.
While the toy train gallery is an imaginary wonderland, some of the train layouts are painstakingly accurate.
The La Mesa Club is building a model of Tehachapi Pass from Bakersfield to Mojave. These guys are really into modeling the real railroad as closely or as accurately as we possibly can. We can go back to the 1950s, we can show the people what kind of equipment ran across the railroad. We have operating sessions where we publish our timetable, and that's exactly how the railroads were run back in those days. So it is keeping a bit of history alive.
A lot of people say that trains built the Southwest. Once the Transcontinental Railroad came in, the town started to sprout up all around the railroad tracks and everything, so it really started to build it.
We think we're doing a fairly decent job of representing in this layout San Diego County and an Imperial County in the year 1949. And that just happens to be when we had the trolley system in San Diego. If you look at the building structures that you see here, they are replicas of actual buildings that existed in that time frame.
More than 3 million visitors have been through the San Diego Model Railroad Museum since it opened in its current space in 1982.
I think they've come to appreciate the detail that it takes and the coordination that this layout represents almost 30 years worth of building, like block by block, piece by piece. I would not even know how to estimate over 30 years how much time and energy has really gone in.
Volunteers, including a tour guide, are on hand anytime the museum is open.
Our first stop today will be at the O scale. This is our O scale.
I think it's because they feel they're offering a contribution. They're protecting a heritage of railroading, that have a feeling that railroading has a value to San Diego and California in the future, and then to preserve some of the memories that they had themselves.
It's a tie with the past. We have so many people who come in that are older that remember real trains, and we run models of real trains, so they have ties with their past. Their grandfather worked for the Virginian Railroad or the Chesapeake and Ohio or the Union Pacific, and they start telling stories about their grandfather who was an engineer or a dispatcher or something like that. I had my first train when I was 6 years old from Santa Claus, and it sort of can take me back to those days when it was much simpler.
This is fun. It really, truly is fun. When the kids see it, they always want one. And we've helped a lot of families get started with model trains.
I have Thomas trains, and that's just about it. But I might stop by the gift shop today and pick up one of those electric trains. Every time we go to a museum, we always say we got to get the garage cleaned out so we can try to do something like that.
They're claiming that it's dying out, these trains, but down here you wouldn't know it.
There are so many interesting things to explore in Balboa Park. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Destination San Diego and that we've inspired you to go exploring in your own backyard. You can see all these stories and get more information on our website, 4sd.com, on the Destination San Diego page. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.